Between the NFL playoffs, big UFC fight cards, and some matchups ending a lot differently than people expected, it was probably a weekend that kept you or those around you glued to the TV constantly. That's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Brendan Conroy, and I am super excited to be joined alongside my good friend and colleague Carlos Garcia. This past weekend was nothing short of a roller coaster of emotions for some fans and a celebration for others. Starting off with Penn State athletics, the blue and white have had themselves quite the past week. And another week full of events is coming ahead. It was a good week for basketball and wrestling fans. The men's team did suffer a loss to rival Ohio State, but they took down ranked Wisconsin in a tight game that ended in students storming the court earlier in the week. The women's team also had a successful week, taking down Nebraska with 18 forced turnovers, and they held them to under 40% shooting from the field. Coming up this week is the Big Thon game for the men's, as they will be back home in the Bryce Jordan Center. The Lady Lions will travel to Evanston and take on Northwestern in another Big Ten matchup. For Penn State wrestling, they look to continue their undefeated season with their next match in College Park, Maryland this Sunday.
On Saturday night, UFC 297 took place in Toronto, and many fans voiced their opinions on social media over a controversial decision in the main event. Defending middleweight champion Sean Strickland took on Dricus du Plessis for the title. After 5 hard-fought rounds, it was the challenger who would be named the new champ via split decision. That caused UFC supporters online to question why the defending champ would not have that decision ruled in his favor.
This past weekend in the NFL might have left some people with heartbreaks or something to celebrate. On the NFC side, the San Francisco 49ers punched their ticket to the NFC Championship, led by Mr. Now relevant Brock Purdy. It wasn't the prettiest win ever, but a late fourth quarter interception allowed the Niners to run out the clock. The Detroit Lions took down Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers in a battle of the number 1 draft pick quarterbacks. Jared Goff now looks to bring the Lions to their first ever Super Bowl with a win next week. Over on the AFC side, the Baltimore Ravens sent rookie C.J. Stroud and his Houston Texans home. Stroud had one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback, but the former MVP Lamar Jackson has plans to finally get that Super Bowl ring. The final game of the weekend featured Patrick Mahomes and his Kansas City Chiefs as they took down Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And yes, Taylor was in attendance. Despite a close game with multiple lead changes, the Bills could not take advantage of their turnover opportunities, and the defense lacked immensely. In the end, the Bills' loss was mainly due to a wide right missed field goal by kicker Tyler Bass. We don't know for sure yet, but it seems Bass and the Bills might be never, ever getting back together.
As the college basketball world inches closer to March, not all of the top teams are safe from upsets. In women's basketball, number 2 ranked Iowa, led by arguably the best player in the country in Caitlin Clark, fell to the number 18 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes in double overtime, 192. The loss dropped Iowa to 5th in the country, but Hawkeyes fans were more concerned after fans storming the court ran into and knocked Clark over. However, she was not injured. On the men's side, the first year of the post-Coach K era at Duke has not been perfect. The number 7 ranked team fell to unranked Pitt 80-76 at home. 3 out of the 4 losses for the Blue Devils this season have come against unranked opponents. So, Brendan, what are you looking forward to most in sports this week?
I mean, we talked about it earlier. I am so excited to see the Lions take on the 49ers. It is a matchup of Jared Goff, the number 1 draft pick quarterback, as well as Brock Purdy, the 262nd draft pick. Like I said, he's Mr. Irrelevant. But can this underdog make his team go to the Super Bowl? That's what I'm most excited for, honestly, coming up. But also Penn State wrestling, like we talked about, is 6-0 right now. They're going to Maryland. Can they keep that streak going and possibly get their 3rd shutout of the season? But what about you? What are you looking forward to, Carlos?
Well, conference championship weekend in the NFL has to be the main headliner this weekend. But I'm also looking forward to the NBA and that trade deadline that's coming up in a couple days. We're starting to see those teams, if they can make those essential trades and get those pieces, that'll hopefully be hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy at the end of the year. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Penn State Sports Night Sports Update. For Brendan Conroy, I'm Carlos Garcia. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.